Hello beautiful people, and welcome back to another video by your girl here, Big Bubbly Beauty. It's great to see you all again. So today's video is actually a pretty special one. I managed to get my hand on the Trendmood box. So this actually was quite difficult to get a hold of. I've missed a few of them because I just was not fast enough in getting them. They tend to sell it pretty quick. But this is the Trendmood Nabla Takeover. And I actually had become a fan recently of Nabla, at least vicariously. I've never actually tried their products, but I have my favorite YouTuber who is Julia Mazzucato. I believe that's how you pronounce her name. Oh my god, I'm going to be so sad if I do not pronounce it correctly. But anyways, I will link her YouTube channel in the description below, but she talks so highly of Nabla products that I really wanted to try them. And then when they did a takeover with Trendmood, I thought, why not? So this is that box. Okay, so this box was 44 American dollars. Not quite sure how much that is in Canadian, but it got to me pretty quickly. Like, I think I placed this order a few days ago or maybe a week ago, and it's already here, which is pretty impressive shipping time, especially considering I live in Canada. So I'm very impressed with that. But let's open it up. Oh, that's interesting. It's like shiny gold in here. So they do give descriptions about what is in the box on the site before you purchase, but I tried not to look at that because I was just like, I just want the Trendmood box and I want to unbox it on camera and just like have it be an exciting moment for everyone. So there are 4 products, 3 makeup products and 1 makeup traveling case. So this is the case. Feels like, oh, there are actually some brushes in it. So it's brushes, the brush case, which is kind of like this nice sparkly ruby color. I actually quite like this. It feels quite sturdy. It's a little small, so I think this would be just for brushes, or it wouldn't hold a lot, but that's okay. And then these are the brushes. I actually get quite a few. Let's see, you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 brushes. So these are the brushes here. They have this interesting brushed or spun metal texture up near the top, and then it's got a clear base. So it has like a denser packing brush, a tapered fluffy brush, small kind of dense-ish brush, probably for the lower lash line, a large fluffy blending brush, a more packed brush here, either for like concealer or for shadows, again, a smaller fluffy brush, an eyebrow brush, and a weird hybrid brush that I don't actually know what this is for, but I'm gonna guess these are mostly all eye and brow brushes. So we're gonna use those today to try on anything that comes in the box, hence why I'm barefaced right now. I didn't know what came in it, so I didn't want to put any products on, but we will do our face when we know what's in the box. But that's what's in it so far. So 8 brushes and a case. Next, 100% achieved dramatic volume, 94% saw extended lash length, 97% said their eyes look bigger, 91% said lashes look like multiplied, consumer test, 100% major pleasure. Wow. And the reason why they say it's 100% major pleasure is because that is the brand. I'm not a huge fan of the packaging on this. Like, yes, it's cool that it's got Nabla all around the top of the mascara, but like the actual tube being a nude color is going to get dirty so easily. It's got like a pretty standard dense bristle brush. So I'm excited to try that and see what the formula feels like. It's in black, which, you know, most mascaras are, but it looks pretty cool. So I'm excited to try it. All right, this is the Nabla Ruby Lights Glitter Palette. So, as advertised, it is a palette of glitter. So these are all pressed glitters. There's Ruby here, Capricorn here. So Ruby, Capricorn, Whisper, and Virgo. And they're 100% vegan. Does not say if they're eye safe in this thing. I do love this packaging though. I'm not a huge glitter person, but this palette in itself is not necessarily a bad thing. If you like pressed glitters, these have some really pretty glitter colors, especially with the holiday season coming up. They have some pretty interesting shifts and reflects to them. I don't know if it's picking up on camera or not. I'm not going to swatch them because they are just pressed glitters. Let's see if they're eye safe. It does not say. And last, this is the Side by Side Nude Palette by Nabla, which actually makes more sense now with this mascara we got. The glitter palette makes sense with the brushes, and this makes sense with the mascara. So this is what the outer packaging of the palette looks like. It's like a nude color, which makes sense because it's a nude palette with some gold abstract lines across it. Kind of look like canes in a way, but we'll see what the inside looks like. It's got a pretty decently sized mirror. There, I'm just gonna try and show you the palette without blinding you. So this is the palette here. It's actually quite a nice nude palette. I kind of wanted to do a nude look today, so that might work well. So I do appreciate that there's like that this is actually mostly cool toned. There are a few more warm toned colors in here, but it's mostly a cool tone palette, which has become a big trend recently, so I do like that. I do like that they include a black. Aside from the black though, the shades in here aren't that dark. They're definitely more for someone of a lighter skin tone than of a darker skin tone, just by the actual shade range. It's nice they include the black, but like this brown could have been made like a deeper chocolate or something like that. It's a little bit light. That's all I'm gonna say. It's overall it's a little light, but for me, this palette is perfect. Just for the majority of people, it might not be. But I do like the gray tones, the cool tones, and the mauvey tones, which are kind of my favorite colors to play with anyways. So let's do some swatches. Okay, so first up is Bonjour, which is like a pinky nude tone. It's actually a pretty creamy matte. And then Ray of Light. Ooh. Okay, that's swatched beautifully. Oh my god, that's pretty. Okay. And then another matte called Halftime, which is again pretty creamy. And then Magic Moment, another shimmer. Ooh. That row looks very similar in terms of color, so I'm not sure how much variation in the shades you get, but I mean, they're very pretty. They're very, very pretty. This is called Body and Soul. Yeah, it's more like a glittery shimmer. And then Paradiso, which is a gold color. Whoa, that's like a beautiful bronzy gold. Beauty Mark, which actually looks like a shade I could do my eyebrows in. And then Clan. Okay. Well, actually, they're not all pretty cool tone. Like, some of these here are quite warm tones. So it's actually got a nice mix of warm and cool tones. Like this one here is quite cool. This one here is bordering on cool. Or some of these are quite warm, but as the further you get in the palette, the cooler the tones get. So I'm actually kind of happy with that. It's like a nice mix between a warm and a cool tone palette. Next row, the first one is called Burnt Sienna, which if you couldn't guess by the title, is going to be a warm brown. Yeah. Beautiful swatch. Then Better Society, which felt like one of the pressed glitters, but it actually is creamier than that. So again, it's actually more maybe like a shimmer with glitter in it than a pressed glitter per se, but that's quite gorgeous. Then something called Cedar Wood, which not bad, not bad. Tempera. This swatch pretty good, I gotta admit. And like, it's a nude palette, so you're not gonna have bright pops of colors. I do like that they included some pink toned nudes in here, as well as some gray tone ones, which is more of that last row is pretty gray tone. So next up is called Rarity, which is pretty dang close to my skin tone, so it barely shows up, which, you know, that's fine. Then Love Ritual. Ooh, that's gorgeous. Cubism. It's a little odd name for a shade. That's just straight up gray. And Untitled, which is the black shade. So it's not the darkest black, but it's still fairly like black. So it's not like a blue black. It's more definitely like a gray tone charcoal black, which is nice that it doesn't have any other reflex in it. It's also not a black with micro glitter, so yay! Because that happens a lot. Now, there's nothing in the container that tells me exactly how much these all would have been on their own without the Trendmood box. So there's like no little thing inside to tell me. So I'm just going to quickly see if I can find out how much each of these pieces cost. So the side-by-side palette on its own was valued at about 40 euros, which is a lot. That's pretty much almost the entire cost of the box there. Like, I don't exactly know the conversion between euro and US dollar, as I'm Canadian. It's pretty close to the value of the box itself, just this palette here. And the Ruby Lights glitter palette which these 4 pots of pressed glitters, is 24 euros. I mean, the 40 euros for the palette makes sense, but 24 euros for a bunch of pressed glitters, that's a little, I think that's a little much. But they are part of the same collection, which is interesting. It's all the side-by-side collection. The Major Pleasure mascara is about 16 euros, which, I mean, it's a bit of a bougie mascara. I personally don't believe in paying that much for mascaras because drugstore mascaras are good and these only last for about 3 months at a time. So I would never actually pay that much for a mascara. I am excited to try this one. So the brush set is not on their site. This isn't actually listed on the Nabla website, so I'm not quite sure how much these brushes are valued at, but in general, their brushes aren't cheap. Looking at them, they're actually quite soft to touch. I don't think I commented on that before, but they are quite soft, except for the stiff one here, but the rest of them are quite soft. This many brushes is probably worth a decent amount just based on the prices of their other brushes, so that's a pretty good value as well. As I said, with the palette itself, it kind of made up for the value of the box in general. So everything else was just kind of on top of that, which is wonderful. So it's actually still a really good value, even though I'm not going to say be using this very much. In fact, I might actually pass this on, which is why I didn't swatch it. It's because I figured I didn't want to get it dirtied on the inside if I'm going to just be giving it to someone else who actually uses glitters, like some of my drag queen friends. I don't use glitters in my everyday life, but like, you know, stage makeup, the glitters are great. I do have glitter glue, so I could use it, but I think it would just be a waste for me to try and use that when I'm not planning on putting glitter on my face today, and I don't think I will be in a while, so I'm gonna pass it on. But I will use the mascara, the brushes, and the eyeshadow palette. So why don't we play around with the eyes first, and then I will do the rest of my face makeup, because that way if there's any fallout, then I know, and then I can adjust for it. But if there's not, beautiful. It's so satisfying when you rip the little sticker off of the mirror. I want to do something fairly cool toned. Could lean straight into that and just do a gray look. I don't think I've ever done a gray look. I think I've always done like a brown or nudie colored or like bright colors. I don't think I've ever done a full-on cool toned gray look. So let's try that. So this big fluffy blending brush, it's N305, if anybody's curious or cares. And I'm gonna go into that gray color, Cubism, in my crease. Maybe it's a little too light. It's not really showing up very well. Oh no, it just requires a little bit of building, which, you know, is actually kind of fine. Like if shades require some building, it does give you a bit more control over how much you can put down. If they're not pigmented enough though, you can never truly get a good color going. So I didn't put anything on my eyes to start, no eyeshadow, primer, or anything. So that might be explaining this, but the gray is a little streaky. Like right here, there's some streaks and it's not really flattering. Now when I close my eyes, it kind of goes away, but it's a little patchy. Again, I don't have any base on my eyes, so I don't know if that would make it better or worse. I'm not the biggest fan of that, but we'll continue. See if the other eye goes any better. I have no idea what I did differently, but that eye went on so much better than the other side. I really don't know what the difference is. So I will say this gray is kind of making me look like I've got a black eye. I might be regretting my choice now. Too bad, too late. So to deepen that outer corner, I'm gonna go in with this kind of cool toned brownish gray here called Clan. I'm gonna try that on the outer edge. I'm gonna use this more tapered blending brush here. It's still big and fluffy, but a little bit more tapered. I actually have no idea if I'm making this better or worse, so we're just gonna go and pretend I'm making it better. I will say that the shades do blend into each other pretty well. Like I have no problem blending the edge of the two into one another. Added a little bit of smokiness there. I'm going to go in with this fluffy brush and just do a bit of this lightest shade Rarity just up on the top. Just soften that edge near the brow bone. I'm gonna go on the lid with Love Ritual, which is that gray shimmer. which is a little bit more glittery than I thought it was going to be. Very happy that I did this first before I did my face because there's a lot of glitter fallout from that. Wow. It was incredibly chunky. I'm just going to take Fluffy Blender, the one that I had the light shade on, and just kind of soften the crease line with the shimmer. I'm going to go back in with that dark brown shade, Clan, and just go over that outer edge again, just to deepen it up again after I put the glitter too far. I'm not so sure gray tone smoky eyes are my thing, but it's been an interesting try so far. So I'm gonna go off camera and finish up the rest of my face and then come back and do the rest of my eyes. Okay, and we're back. So I did my makeup off camera. I can go through all the products, but I'm not sure if people want me to do that or not. So I'm gonna try not, but if you guys want me to go through the products later, just let me know. So what to do next with the eyes? I think the first thing that I'm gonna do is I'm going to take that brown shade, Clan, deep dark brown, and just put that on the lower lash line. That went on a little bit more strong than I anticipated. I'm going to take that Rarity shade and just do the inner corner of the lower lash line, just to keep that inner part of the under eye nice and bright. Now for the highlight, inner corner highlight, I was debating on using one of the gray tone shades or the Ray of Light shade, but those are too gold and the gray tone shimmer is kind of all over my lid. So I might actually pop into a Super Shock highlighter, shade Ritz here, and just use that for my inner corner highlight. Okay, we are going to do a smoky liner. I'm actually going to use the black shade that's in here as a liner. I'm going to take this angled brush that I also use for my brows, and I cleaned it in between. I'm just going to dip into the black shade and do like a shadow liner. I tend to like shadow liners just because they create this nice soft eyeline look that really does just make your lashes look fuller. So that is the eyes. Now I'm going to use the mascara that came with this. We're just going to do a few coats. Okay, so that is what it looks like after a few coats. I will say it did a very good job of thickening. I don't know if it did such a great job of lengthening, but it definitely made my lashes look thicker. So this is the final look with the Nabla and Trendmood Takeover. So just some glamour shots. I will say I overall like the palette. I do wish that some of these cooler shades were a bit more blendable. Like they stuck and were a little bit harder to work with than I expected. So they were a little bit more patchy than I was expecting, especially the kind of brownie cool tone shade Clan and Cubism, which is that gray toned matte. They did not move as nicely as I thought they would. I was quite surprised by that, especially Cubism, because it wasn't as pigmented, so I thought that it would blend a lot easier than it did. Now the shimmer was great, so went on beautifully. Was a little bit chunkier than I expected, but it was still quite creamy and went on quite well. And the black shade was a black shade. It was decent. It worked well as a liner. I quite liked it for that. I don't know, I expected it to be a little bit better. And maybe I just got the kinds of shades that are harder, like maybe cool tones are harder to formulate. I actually have no idea about that. But it wasn't my favorite, but it wasn't bad either. I was really excited to get to try it out because Nabla has been super hyped by the people that I watch on YouTube who do who do beauty YouTube, you know what I meant. By the people that I watch, the content creators that I watch, they like Nabla. So I wanted to really try it out, and I did like the mascara. I loved the brushes. They were great. They were soft. They felt nice. And the shadows did blend well into each other. They're just a little hard to put down to start with. And maybe that would be better if I did start off with an eyeshadow primer. I didn't have any base whatsoever. I think it still looked good. To the shimmer's credit, I don't see much creasing going on at all, which is incredible. So overall, I think it's a good palette. It's just that, I don't know, Seems a little overpriced is what I think I'm getting at. Like, I would expect it to not be patchy at all for that price. But it's not a bad palette, so I'm going to keep it and I'm going to continue playing with it because there's a whole range of stuff that I have not explored. Like, I used this one and these 4 here, but I have not used like the warm side of the palette at all. So I'm excited to get into it. I just was a little intrigued by the gray tones, the smoky tones, and I wanted to try them out. Overall, am I happy with how it turned out? Yes. Do I think it's a look for me in the future? No. I don't think I'm cut out to do gray eyeshadow. Yeah, I don't think it suits me. Again, I still need to play with the warm tone side of this, so it's gonna be staying. Overall, do I think this was a good value? Yes, I do, because you got well over your money's worth. I mean, it's a pretty decent palette. I love the brushes. The mascara was wonderful, so I think it was worth it. Would I recommend Trendmood? Actually, yes. They put together a decent collection to give you an idea of products. Now, I haven't done Trendmood other than this, so I can't give you a full review. But I think it was worth it. I think the collab was good. Anyways, let me know your thoughts down in the comments below, beautiful people. What do you think about the gray tone eyeshadow look? Am I being too harsh on myself? Do you actually like it? Or was I correct in that it looks kind of weird on me? Let me know. And what did you think about the products they chose, the price of the box, the value for the sets that you get, and what you buy from Trendmood or Nabla? Again, let me know in the comments down below. Please don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel so you can be aware when I post new videos and join the family. Anyways, I hope you have a wonderful day, beautiful people. Bye!